ball's flying far. Wind has just started to pick up though for these late starters. A little bit into and off the right for Jin Young, using an 8-iron.
That's very good. Jin Young Ko will have a chance. But the way that scoring is going, 1 under's just not going to cut it today. Going to be moving in the wrong direction. In fact, she has fallen 5 places on the leaderboard, being 1 under. Now Jin Young Ko working hard on this birdie putt, Karen.
She is, and she's left herself in quite a nice spot to putt from. It should move to the left, but fairly flat for speed. I don't think it's going to be too speedy. I think it's one that you can judge quite well. Obviously feeling quite good with the putter after her round yesterday.
Sometimes these putts can be.
It's hard when you have, you know, low 200s, Karen, to tell yourself, oh, let me lay up here. You know, these players, especially somebody with the Alimi's length.
No, you're absolutely right. And she was in 2 minds for sure what she was going to do. Jin Young, no problem at all for her. That's from 209 to the flag.
There's out of bounds over there.
There is.
Wow, that went bounding over the green. I don't know if it quite got to the line of the out of bounds. I'm not quite sure how close to that palm tree or that clump of trees gets, but she's going to be shocked if she gets over that green. She has no thought in her mind whatsoever that that could potentially be close to the out of bounds.
Hasn't made a bogey all week. Over the green in 2 at this par 5, so it is up in play.
Yeah, it looks like it's about 5 or 6 paces in play, but definitely a little bit closer than I think she would like when she gets up there. She's going to be surprised by where that ended up. But knowing Jin Young, she'll probably get up and down.
Hasn't won, and well, the good news is Jin Young is in bounds, but this doesn't look like a great spot, Karen.
No, on a scale of 1 to 10, where 10 is the most difficult, this would be a 10. She's got to keep this one low to keep it sort of under the trunks of the palm tree. She's going to be landing this into an upslope. She's got to try and get this one to hop on from that upslope, and then judge how much it's going to release downhill, uphill on the green. I mean, it's a bit of a roller coaster once the ball gets onto the green as well. Nothing easy in this at all.
Just a bit of a guessing game. Got to commit to your shot. Pick your spot and try and land it there. Hope you get the bounce.
That's a really great effort, Morgan. Really great effort.
Wow.
That was just a real touch of class there. Didn't panic in that situation. Really took her time to figure out exactly what type of shot she was going to hit. Kept her tempo smooth. I mean, you can see from this spot, like she can't see much either, which makes it even harder. Just a simple little pitch with a low lofted iron to get it to run up onto the green, and has a putt now for birdie.
Well, you called it. Maybe with tongue in cheek, but and now Jin Young Ko. This for a birdie to remember, and this to take the lead.
Uphill. He's going to move to the left.
All in all, pretty good to get away with an easy par. get off that.
Right. Players really do have to be sort of really go for it, really attack this flag. Anything left and can end up with a really tricky putt.
Got health though, so it's not a full one, right? Yeah, I like that. Yeah, right to left and home.
It's a 7-iron.
Interesting choice, Karen, to go with something that he said it's not a full one. You got to take something off of it to a back hole location like this. No room behind it.
No, and typically when you do that, Morgan, you're going to get more release on it. So expect this to land just over that bunker on the front of the green and let it release by about, I mean, you've got to be getting about what, 4 yards of release, 5 yards of release on this.
Nice shot. Get there. Hey. Nice shot.
Just like that, Karen. Good leave below the hole.
That actually might take the putter, or keeping it on the ground, out of her hands. Back over to the 7th and Jin Young Ko.
And this one's quite uphill, same as your Limis. Going to have a bit more left movement in it though from this part of the green.
It's going to be another par. It's going to be 72 consecutive holes bogey-free for Jin Young Ko. It's pretty impressive, isn't it? 4 rounds without a bogey.
And she's still more than 40 holes away from her personal best.
Which was 114. She's at 11 under par, chasing that first victory. Let's go to 8.
7 pars for Jin Young Ko.
And your players really do have to keep this one down the right side because the penalty area on the left does come into play for these players today.
Very quick putt.
At the 8th, the par 5, second shot for Jin Young Ko.
It's got a long way to get all the way back to the hole, 260, but the number is 207 to carry the left bunker, so she can get this one to chase up towards the front edge.
Oh, gets a nice kick off the downslope there.
Who is 7 under with 5 holes to go as she makes her way to the 14th. We've got eagle putts at the par 5 8th, beginning with Jin Young Ko.
Well, and it's been pretty slim pickings for Jin Young so far on the green. She's been putting some good rolls on it, just hasn't got anything to drop. It's a little bit of uphill in this putt.
So that's a tie, Nelly.
Back on the 9th. Team moved forward. This is Jin Young Ko.
It is. Not only is the team moving forward, but you have some helping wind here too, Tom. It's probably, I'd say it's about almost 10 yards of help right now in this wind. There's not much behind this flag. Everything rolls off.
Oh, it's long, Karen.
It's been one of the hardest greens to hit on this golf course all week, really, because of the way that it's.
This is at the 9th, second for Ko.
Lie has no problem at all, and she was able to pitch that into the grain from that Bermuda grass as you were talking about.
Should be a 3 for Jin Young Ko.
Young today in the final group, and feeling that pressure of being in the final group, playing against one of the very best in the world, and realizing that she can keep up.
Yeah. Karen, I think it can be an intimidation factor, as Morgan was saying, playing against someone like Jin Young Ko.
It is, but only in reputation for what kind of a golfer Jin Young Ko is. I mean, in terms of having somebody who is pleasant to play with, Jin Young Ko is that. There's no real intimidation from that, but you know that she doesn't make mistakes. I mean, you've talked about the par streak. I mean, somebody that just continually makes par after par after par makes you feel like you have to get birdies.
Good up and down there. Jin Young Ko, who has had success in the Founders Cup in odd-numbered years, 2019, 2021, 2023. There is a basketball game over on CBS, which is running a little bit long, so the PGA Tour coverage will continue on Golf Channel. We will move over to Golf Channel as soon as that basketball game ends, and the PGA Tour moves to CBS, if that makes sense.
Arc of the Cup. And back on the tee, Jin Young.
She typically hits a little bit more of a draw. And that one is down the left side also.
We'll go back to number 10.
And Jin Young Ko back there. She'll go first.
She's got 111 left. So it's probably just a wedge for Jin Young, some kind of wedge. And it did, I mean, it's not a bad lie, but sometimes, you know, on Bermuda grass, it will kind of settle just a little bit, but it shouldn't interfere one bit with the strike on this. Whole location really tucked on that front left portion.
Oh, couldn't hide it from Jin Young. This looks so familiar. For the next few seconds, she's tied for the lead.
Beautiful strokes. I mean, that just wonderful pace. She looks very calm out there, Karen.
She is. I mean, doesn't seem to be fazed by anything. Her demeanor is very similar. She said she's working on rhythm and trying to keep steady rhythm throughout, and she's definitely been doing that.
Jin Young now to regain the lead.
Pretty much straight up the hill here. And I think this is good for this final group to be being able to play off each other with some birdies here.
Yeah. All right. Her two-shot lead to start the day went away over the first 7 holes, but now she has it back. And Nelly Korda is up ahead of the 15th. She would make that to take the lead outright. Meanwhile, Jin Young Ko, 7 pars to start her 3rd round, a birdie at 8, and then this at 10. Looking very much like the Jin Young Ko that has been Young Ko and the young American Yeliney No. Take you out to the 11th and say hi to Tom.
This is Jin Young Ko for a birdie with Karen watching.
It is, and this is not an easy putt to judge. So I think she'll be okay taking a par there, Tom.
Yeah, she's going to tap in for a 3, stay at 14 under par. Very consistent campaigner who has won the Founders Cup 3 times before, all in odd-numbered years.
They've been around long enough to have known some of those 13 founders, met them when they first came out onto the LPGA Tour, and we're always thinking about the founders, but especially this week, celebrating them. Leading by 1, Jin Young Ko, the 12th.
And really no need to hit a driver on this hole. You just have to accept you're going to have a longer second shot.
12th, and Karen Stupples is there.
And into the wind, using an 8-iron.
This all looks very familiar, Karen.
A low stat for Nelly. It would be bunker play, but she doesn't miss very many greens, so it never really comes into play.
All right, Yeliney No has a putt to get to 14 under. Jin Young first for a birdie of her own.
And this one's going to move to the right.
Didn't win last year. Came close in Boston. Lost a playoff to Head On You. Had a putt of about that length on the 72nd hole to win it. Into the playoff she went with Head On. One of the players following in her footsteps from Korea.
calm. She may not be as calm as she looks on the inside, but she can't be too far off.
And Jin Young Ko.
Jin Young's tee shots typically are a bit lower, and but they can get some run out. Everything's kind of dry out here at Bradenton Country Club, so players are able to get quite a bit of run on the ball. The wind is, there's a bit of hurt from this direction and more off the left though.
Karen, we don't often see Jin Young play this early in the season. This is the first time in many years that she has come. She came 3 weeks before the event in Orlando last week with her parents and her dog. First time her dog's been to the States with her. And really put in a lot of work.
Bam here in just a bit as we celebrate the founders this week, and we've got some serious drama building. Tom at the 13th.
Jin Young Ko's second.
And that's a 6-iron, Tom, for Jin Young.
There's a little club twirl there. When Nelly club twirls it, it usually means it's all over the flag, but obviously not today. But later in the round, we're seeing a few players struggle a little bit there at 15. Maybe a few miscues. We'll see coming home. Let's watch Jin Young Ko for a birdie.
Putting from a more straightforward place there, Tom. Really taking advantage.
Yeah. So that gets Jin Young Ko to 15 under par. She leads the way once again at the Founders Cup presented by US Virgin Islands. How about the Founders Cup being played in US Virgin Islands and playing golf at Sarah Bay? They say she goes and plays there a lot. There aren't as many practice facilities there as some other places that she may have access to, but in terms of playing and getting your game ready for tournament golf, that's where she spends quite a bit of time. It will help playing a golf course like this, and especially shots like that.
They've got a great history of LPGA
they had
golf
two
over at Sarah Bay.
LPGA founders that worked in the pro shop
About
in
that.
the 1950s. Yeah, the Bauer sisters.
Yeah, 2 of the 13 founders. And Jin Young got to meet some of them on the perch when she won in 2019 in Phoenix. She won in Mountain Ridge over in Jersey there, and then at Upper Montclair a couple of years ago, and leading again, Karen, by 1.
Well, they're playing a really well played tee shot here. It's not easy being downwind and the ball pushing it towards the penalty area on the left as well. So safely down the right side.
I'd call that a game that travels well.
You think?
Just so
Something I was expecting to see, just the height and the spin.
she was not aiming anywhere near that flag stick. Landed perfectly in the fringe and nearly hold it. Kicking birdie.
Now Jin Young.
She has an 8-iron out. More conventional shot here for Jin Young out to the right, which is more what you'd expect.
It's a similar place to where we saw Nelly play from. It made me laugh about, you know, no course management, driver everywhere. Hasn't that always been your MO?
Yeah.
When did that change?
Oh, you know, the older I've gotten, the more I...
Certainly the last 20 years on the LPGA Tour, twice a major champion, and of course now you got Jin Young Ko following in the footsteps of these great major champions. To my right, you got Jin Young with a putt for birdie, and this after Yelimi tapped in to tire this to regain it.
Not an easy putt though. It is uphill and will break to the left. All about speed. The whole location is just at the top of the slope as well.
It's definitely one that she's looking to 2-putt, not standing over that, thinking this is a truly makeable putt. Good speed.
Has not made a bogey since the 3rd round of the Hilton Grand Vacations Tournament of Champions, and you're like, yeah, right, that's Jin Young, isn't it, Brittany?
Ah, totally. I mean, is that what we're supposed to do? I think I had too many bogeys this week.
Well, she went 114 holes without a bogey, setting an all-time LPGA record back in 2019, and 72 of those came within the CPKC Women's Open when she won there. And now she's trying to go bogey-free again. This is a little bit of work left. But for you who did it for so long, I mean, just numbers that just don't make sense. Golf is not supposed to be is that flawless, is
Absolutely. It's like when you say, oh, I haven't missed a fairway all day, and the next hole you immediately miss the fairway. So obviously she's not thinking about, oh, I haven't made a bogey. She's very focused on what she needs to do, which is amazing.
I remember when that streak ended,
Fantastic quality iron shots. Yelimi's had the tee on these par threes, and she's been really hitting it in there tight. And of course, Jin Young now has to try and follow that.
Followed it pretty well there. Two very good tee shots. Jin Young Ko said she was kind of in the zone yesterday. Wasn't thinking about the results at all. Didn't even know what she shot. She's going along very well.
I don't know, the competitor in you wants to fight that.
Oh, wow.
How does that not go in, Tom?
Just wandered. We had a great look there at the putt from the low angle. Just wandered left on her.
looked like she wasn't playing it outside the hole, and it maybe started just a fraction left of where she was looking. And it's just not one that you can be very aggressive with. Kind of at the mercy of gravity here.
On the weekend here.
Oh, I do. I mean, anytime you put yourself in a position to contend, you take all those experiences with you, everything that you've learned, you kind of bank them, and you aim to use all that experience next time you have the opportunity. And of course, this is it right here.
Of course, Jin Young has just lived in the final group on the weekend in her 8 years on tour, seems like.
This is down the right half of the fairway.
Just not quite gotten them to go in after making the turn here, after really the putt on 10.
We saw the tee shot of Jin Young Ko drift a little right. Karen, what do you think?
It did, and it's found a bit of a fluffy lie in this Bermuda grass. Her ball is a little bit below her feet, so you do have to expect it to jump a little bit. Jin Young's ball does come out a little bit flatter, and so I expect this should get some tumble on it. She has 165. Into the wind.
That's something just about the front edge. Hardly any curve to that shot.
She's hit some of her best shots this week from off the fairway. Is it that easy out of the rough, Brittany?
No.
No.
I was expecting that to release about 15, maybe.
Karen, I don't know if you remember, but that event in Portland 2019, she wasn't even a member of the tour, but she had a 3-shot lead with 4 holes to go, and it took an unbelievable finish from Hannah Green to catch Yelimi. And now here Yelimi is knocking on the door.
Again, it's something that we all knew she's fully capable of. Very solid player across the board. I think it just took her time to really adjust to the stresses of playing LPGA Tour golf, and you know, this long putter that she's put in the bag has really been the catalyst that sparked the good quality play. But Jin Young has a chance here to tie her.
So Jin Young Ko and Yelimi, no, they were part of a 4-way tie earlier, but now they have created some separation. 3 ahead of Megan Kang.
She was having a bit of a laugh about going for the green in 2 from the bunker, which obviously didn't quite work out. She did lay it up earlier this week when I was out walking with her, and she could have gone for the green in 2, but played safe and laid it up. Now back to the tee, and Jin Young Ko ready to play.
She is, and that does not look like a driver, Tom. I think she's just going to play this one. Yeah, just there's no need for Jin Young. It's only 268 to get to that fairway bunker, and she's a very strategic player, and I'm not sure that she would fancy going for this green. Anyway, she did lay up the other day when I followed her, and wouldn't surprise me to see her do the same, although this has got a good bit of distance on it, and it's going to create a good angle from that left half of the fairway.
Par 5 with difficult shot behind a tree out of the rough. No layup in Yalimi.
No.
No.
Sorry, Tom. Jin Young's got 210. Much nicer angle for Jin Young. Also, tremendous shot.
Oh, it also pitched just short of the green, Karen, so she gets a little bit of stop, and it will stay on the green, and she'll have a great look at eagle. We've seen, as Morgan was saying, players coming through, pitching it on that green at 2, and it runs over the back. You've got that tricky up and down, but both of those players in the final pairing with good looks at eagle.
62 today. Jin Young Ko with the 63 yesterday.
We had the wild finish on Sunday last year, so you just never quite know. Nelly led by 4 entering that final round and wound up winning, but what happened in between was memorable.
Certainly was. Now Ko.
And back into the wind from here, so it gives you the impression that you can be a little bit more aggressive with this putt. And this back nine can be quite volatile. You've got eagle opportunities on this hole, but you've also got a chance for disaster as well with the way the penalty areas come into play.
It'll be an easy birdie. Nice to see Jin Young healthy. She struggled with some injury problems the last year and a half. I think have held her back for obvious reasons. And Grant was saying last year, not getting that victory, the first time that she's been winless on the LPGA Tour since she first came out. And I think a healthy Jin Young Ko, happy
Jin Young Ko and Yalimi No sharing a 4-shot lead, and here's Jin Young, 18.
And no problem with that tee shot at all. Just hit a nice little draw.
It's going to end up in the rough, though. Just a little bit.
She now shares it with Yalimi. So we're looking at the ball having come to rest in the rough. Karen, what do you think?
I think it looks okay. There's a little bit of grass behind it, but not a huge amount. This lie would not faze me too much. The ball is a little bit below her feet, but not by a huge amount either. I think this is very doable. She's only got 124, but being downwind, I will expect her to land this short of the hole and let it take a hop and then a little bit of release after that.
She shot a 63 yesterday, which at the time was a Bradenton Country Club course record. It tied her career low, and you're talking about a player who wow you like some of the other greats with great power. It's just that relentless consistency that has taken her to the very top of the game.
Well, you just know she's not going to make mistakes, and that's the difficulty that you're playing against when you're facing Jin Young Ko. She's going to make pars, she's going to throw a few birdies in there, so it makes you feel like you have to do something exceptional to beat her, and that in itself puts a bunch of pressure on you.
Wow. So, a 2-shot lead when the round began, and a 66 more.
And to Karen's point, sometimes she just looks superhuman. And when you're up against that, you can't wait for her to make a mistake. You have to go and get it yourself. And, I mean, just nearly a flawless round. Anytime she faced the slightest bit of adversity, was able to recover nicely. And just really steady golf.
Bogey free for 54 holes